Hey, everybody. I hope this finds you safe, healthy, doing well in whatever way you possibly can. Um, it's interesting, isn't it, these times? I feel like many of us are finding our way through in so many interesting ways. But in this moment, I had an interesting realization this morning. Um, you can see I'm wearing my glasses because I'm exhausted today. And I am giving myself a little bit of a reckoning because I have these cats. Now let me show you this cat here. You ready? Here is one of them. Here he is. He's so cute, isn't he? He's such a cute cat. They are sweet cats. I'm fostering them for the SPCA because I was volunteering there before the whole coronavirus nonsense happened. And then I offered to foster these two cats that were pretty overweight and not really getting a lot of attention from people who were coming to adopt. So I offered to take them home, and I'm pretty good with cats. So I figured if they were out of that cage and in a house where they could get moving and run around, that they would feel better. And they have significantly lost a lot of weight. They are both so much better and they look so healthy in comparison to when I brought them home. Sorry, I have to fix my cord here. It's making the poor cat twitch. Isn't this a great video? So anyway, my these cats have been at my house for a few weeks now, and we're still kind of getting to know each other. But and I'm glad they're here. I'm so glad they're here because really having pets at a time like this has been a lifesaver since I live alone. And having to be alone for this amount of time isn't unusual for me because I actually have lived alone for a year. And so I'm used to it. I'm used to being alone. So it's not really been a problem, but it has been nice to have the cats. So in this time, here I am trying to get used to these cats. And they decide to literally brawl. Oh, yes, they brawled in my bedroom at a very early hour, woke me right out of a dead sleep. I was so desperate for sleep at this point because I have been, trying to get figured out with what these two need. And I've been trying different things to get life squared away for all of us so it works. But I did not lock them up last night. I have done that a few times. I've tried not to because I feel bad for them because they've been locked up in a cage for so long. I didn't want them to have to be locked up. So, I was feeling bad for them, and my empathetic female training has made me want to keep them in my bedroom with me so that they would have my presence there to make them feel better. Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. That is what I'm kicking to the curb today. Because today, I'm going to show you, my eyes are like, I don't know if you can see how, maybe it doesn't look that bad now. It looked awful this morning. My eyes look so, these dark circles under my eyes. I am so tired right now. I am super exhausted. And my whole body, sorry, I'm moving again because the cat is twitchy. My whole body is just wiped out right now, and that's not good. It's not good. I can't do that. I've been really good for a long time about having a schedule that I honor, a morning routine that I honor. I take my cold showers and I do my meditating and I take really good care of myself. I eat well, I sleep well, I do all the things, right? I exercise, I do all of it. I drink my green juice. I'm so good. I really, literally am so good to myself, right? But this is showing me this moment where the cat sprawled in the middle of the night last night and woke me up out of a dead sleep, which I desperately needed more of. I'm so tired because these two kind of have been keeping me awake at night. I realized when this brawl broke out in my bedroom, the cats really just shrieking, I said to myself, oh, no, they're getting locked up. I can't do this. I need to sleep. But then, of course, once I locked them up, they were banging on the door and everything. I mean, the whole 9 yards. It was sort of a nightmare. It's fine. I'll get over it. But it opened my eyes to something about myself with this, like I said, this training, this empathetic female training, which every woman gets growing up. I don't care if your parents didn't raise you that way, because my parents really didn't raise me that way necessarily, not purposefully. In fact, if anything, they tried very hard not to. But we get that training in society in general, all over the world. It does not matter where you grow up. If you're a woman, you've received this training where you are supposed to think of others before yourself. You are supposed to give selflessly all the time. You are supposed to be empathetic and compassionate and kind, and to the point where you're giving of yourself more than you should. Right? So, this training that so many females receive in their lifetime is hard to undo. But I'm telling you what, today, I'm taking care of that today. I am not going to have these cats in my bedroom tonight. Tonight, I am going to lock them in a room away from me so I can sleep because I need my rest. I don't want to get sick. I want to be healthy. I need to feel well. I have things to accomplish because despite the fact that we have a pandemic, I have things that I still have to do. I still have work that I do from home. I still have a routine that I intend to keep, and I want to feel good enough to actually keep it. Like, I really wanted to go yesterday and climb a mountain because I like doing that. It keeps me in really good condition and I enjoy it. I like the view. I like the reward of how good it feels when I'm done. It's my thing. But I couldn't do it yesterday. I was too freaking tired. No. So I'm just saying, if you are, this is a time, is a perfect time for all of us to investigate what about our lives is not working, and what about ourselves do we have an opportunity to shift and tweak in order to have a better life, in order to feel good. And I'm realizing even more than ever that I have to put myself first. As much as I feel for these cats and as much as I want them to be comfortable and happy and well cared for, I also need to take care of myself. I have to be able to get sleep if I'm going to take care of these cats properly, if I'm not going to feel resentful about the fact that they're here, because if I never sleep, how am I going to feel? I'm going to be grouchy. I'm going to be angry. And I'm not going to want to be as loving with these cats as they need me to be because I'm going to be too tired. I can't give from that place. And that's true if you're a parent or any other kind of caregiver. You are responsible for yourself. You're responsible for taking care of your own needs first. Because if you don't, what are you doing? You are essentially giving the person in your life that you're supposed to be helping. My hand is shaking now because I'm holding too long with one hand. I really need a selfie stick. But anyway, you are giving to people in your life from a place where you are not fulfilled if you are not taking care of yourself first. It's not selfish. It is, in my opinion, what will make this world a much better place if we all did that. If everybody, imagine if everybody in the world stopped giving to everybody else first and instead decided they loved themselves so much that they understood how important it is to get enough rest, to eat good food that actually fills your body with strength and vigor and gives you all the nutrition you need, instead of sitting down with a bag of chips in front of the television or eating a pan of brownies or a pint of ice cream. Hello, everyone who's probably stuck at home freaking out about the coronavirus and watching too much CNN. I see you. I've been there. I know you. I have been you. But trust me when I say, if I can stop doing it, so can you. I was super addicted to food and I still have to work at it. I still have to um, remind myself sometimes not to go overboard. But I'm largely over that now. I just eat, and I eat as much as I want because I'm eating only good food. I give myself a reward day and I eat as much of whatever I want as I can stand, and because it's only one day of the week, it's not a big deal. It's fine. So, I mean, this is just one way of doing things, but I mean, seriously, imagine how the world would be if we all just took care of ourselves. If we all just slept as much as we need to every night and made that a priority. You have a set bedtime and you say to yourself, okay, I know that tomorrow I have to get up at 7 o'clock. So I'm in bed by 11. The end. There is no negotiating that. Or you have to get up at 6, so you go to bed at 10. You have to get up at 5, you go to bed at 9. Whatever it is, whatever your bedtime needs to be in order for you to get the amount of sleep you need, that should happen so that you get enough rest. Why is this a big deal? I don't understand. Part of the problem, I think, is because we constantly play this game of feeling like we need to play catch up. But I think it's because we have created lives that we haven't chosen. We are allowing others to dictate to us what's important and what we should be doing. And instead of investigating and thinking about it and deciding for ourselves how we feel about everything and what we think about how we spend our time, we just kind of pinball from one thing to the next. And that is not okay. That, I think, is part of the reason that we are facing a crisis right now, because nobody's taking care of themselves. We are all facing all kinds of crises in the world right now. It's not just a pandemic. There are other problems happening too. And these problems, a lot of them come from a place of people not accepting responsibility for what they need to be doing for themselves. Because if we allow other people to walk on us, if we allow other people to dictate things to us, if we allow anybody to make us feel badly about who we are, if we allow anything other than good into our lives, into our hearts, into our feelings about anything, then we're unhappy. And that means we are dependent on others for our emotional state, which is totally screwy. And I know how that is because I grew up that way. I was trained to expect that my happiness was dependent on somebody else. I was trained to expect that somebody else would tell me what to do. I was trained, even though I rebelled against that, that was my training. And I've had to work very hard to realize that it is not up to anybody else how I feel. It is not up to anybody else what I do. I have a choice in absolutely everything in my life. I chose every single thing that is happening in my life right now. I have chosen my life. That means that the fact that I am in my ex-husband's empty house until I push myself to figure out my financial circumstances better than they are right now, until I have the circumstances under control, I have chosen to live a life of scarcity until I figure it out. And I will figure it out. I am determined that I'm going to figure it out. I'm making myself so uncomfortable that it is going to be a priority, and it has been a priority. I'm still not figured out yet, but it's okay. I can promise you that if you start choosing from a place of purpose and you start choosing from a place of responsibility for your own self, I think everything will shift in the entire world. I think we will see a complete shift in how everything happens, in how we do business, in how we live, in the ways we choose to allow governments or bosses or anybody else that we see as quote unquote authority figures, like they actually get to tell us what to do. I'm sorry, they actually don't. We are choosing to listen to them and do as they request. But truthfully, there are lots of people in the world who don't do what lawmakers or bosses or anybody else expects of them. There's a lot of people in the world who just don't abide by those rules. They do what they want. And they may end up in jail because of it if they get caught. They might buy their way out of it, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? We're abiding by these rules because we choose to. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because we do need to have certain things in place, I think, as a society to keep us safe, to make sure that we're all getting what we need. But I don't think it has to be a thing where we all have these expectations that we're supposed to follow blindly. I don't think that's how you're supposed to live. I think you're supposed to live purposefully and choose to follow certain rules, choose to follow certain guidelines, because we know it's better for us if we do. So I feel like this is our moment right now where we are having an opportunity to investigate deeply into the choices we have made as a society and in our own lives as individuals. It's a collective, but it's also an individual opportunity to see how we live with clarity, to ask ourselves hard questions about, did I do this because it was good for me, or did I do this because I was trained and taught that this is what I was supposed to do, not because it was good for me, but because I was supposed to do it? Are you doing it out of obedience, without thinking, or are you consciously choosing? Living with intention is where the future is, I think, aiming. And I think that is where we are headed if, as a collective, if as individuals, we decide to start taking responsibility for ourselves. So I know this is a long, drawn out, big time, I don't even know, sort of a wandering explanation, but it just felt important to say. And I hope it helps somebody think differently about what's happening right now. I hope it helps you think about your opportunities in this moment, especially if you aren't having to work right now and you are just stuck at home watching Netflix or doing whatever you're doing, instead of taking care of yourself because you're wallowing, because you're watching too much news, or because you're having a hard time with this. This is, we are built for times like these. We are clever and resourceful as human beings. We are really capable of the creativity it requires to overcome these circumstances and survive them just fine. And I believe with my whole heart that everybody who comes through this is going to figure out a new way forward. We are going to figure it out. We are going to figure it out. We are actively in the process, I think, of a complete shift in the way we do things. And I think this is part of it. So I hope that you are going to maybe consider not hustling, not making yourself crazy, not feeling like you need a freaking long, huge to-do list, but instead starting to come from a place of, what do I need right now? What is good for me right now? What is it that's going to fulfill me right now? And be present with it and sit with it and trust yourself to know what you need and feel how you're going to feel and be okay with it. You're allowed to feel whatever you feel right now, but use those emotions as your indicator. That should be your litmus test for what's going on inside of you, so you can decide how to move forward. Because if you don't feel good right now, that's your opportunity to ask yourself, why don't I feel good? What about this situation is making me feel like crap? What do you need in order to feel good? Because there is feeling good, even in this crisis. You can feel good, and there's no reason to feel guilty about that. You're allowed to feel good right now. You're allowed. It's okay to do that. And you should do that, because if more of us do that, you're going to increase your immune system. You're going to be in a space where you can help others more readily. You will be more emotionally available. You will find yourself in a state of far more, I think, heart-based service, because you've given to yourself what you need. So think about that. What do you need to do to get to that space where you feel good? What do you need to do? All right, so find it, write about it. I offer these weekly writing prompts for a reason. I want people to use them. These are opportunities. Living with intention every single day. Choose your actions, choose your life. You are the creator of it. You are the decider of what you do. You get to choose. So, what are you going to choose today, right now? That was a lot. I hope it's helpful. I hope it serves you. I hope it changes your day. Feel something wonderful today. Find a reason to find joy. Okay? And I will be back tomorrow with the next writing prompt, and I hope that it will find all of us well rested, feeling more peppy, having a better outlook, and really embracing the moment and finding in it the opportunity to grow. That's what I think this is right now. I will see you guys tomorrow.